All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Today is Sunday, September 17th, 2023, and you are now watching A Deeper PTE. I'm your host, PTE, also known as Permission to Exist. And tonight we have a very interesting show that I've actually been teasing for a while now. And if you've been with the channel for some time, you might actually recall me teasing this topic, and I literally have only teased it before. I would say maybe one sentence about it and then let it go and wouldn't follow up. So, some of you will actually remember me mentioning this. For others, it will be new. But welcome, everyone. Good to see you guys. I meant to give you all exclamation points, but when I'm typing, sometimes I miss and hit the @ sign. So, exclamation points for you all. Welcome to the show, everybody. So, tonight, we're going to talk about something that I think is very interesting, something that I've been noticing really honestly for quite a few years, but only recently started like capturing examples of what I was seeing. And then we're going to kind of break it down and talk about it and what it means and what I think it means for all of us, the lesson that we all should be taking away from what we're going to talk about. What we're going to talk about tonight is the possibility that maybe we shouldn't be lighting up these rooms or giving the shirts off of our backs. And I might actually change the title to that whole entire sentence. Maybe we shouldn't be lighting up these rooms or giving the shirts off of our backs. And basically, the premise of tonight's show is that I have noticed whenever I'm watching the news or some sort of true crime coverage, be that on YouTube or elsewhere, so many times and more often than not, I hear them say about the victim that he or she lit up the room when they came into the room and they would get the shirt off of their back. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that, and I'm going to prove it to you here in a second. And to me, for a minute, when I first started hearing that, I would say to myself, Lord, there they go, giving that shirt off the back. Boy, here they go again, lighting up these rooms. And it was kind of like a half joke. And I do mean half joke because there's nothing funny about crime or what happened to any of these people or anyone who falls victim to crime. There's no humor in that. I just have an inappropriate sense of humor. Y'all just have to forgive me. And so that's what I would be thinking when I'd be reading these stories. I'm like, there they go again, giving that shirt off their back. But then the joke turned into kind of a deeper meditation about it. I'm like, what if there's something to this, though? Because this happens too much. And initially, I dismissed it as people just trying to find something nice to say, because you want to say something nice about people when something tragic befalls them. You want to say nice things. Very rarely do people say not nice things. But then I thought about it more and I'm like, nah, I think there's something more to this. So that's what we're going to explore tonight. And I have prepared a little video for you to kind of prove the point that I'm trying to make. So we're going to watch that video. It is primarily text. So there's two speaking parts, but it is primarily text. So you're going to have to read your screen. I did try to slow it down as much as possible, but really all I want you to focus on is what's highlighted in the video. And then there's some text at the end that we're going to explore more. So if it goes by too fast, just hit pause. It'll let you read your screen and then hit play and continue, okay? But let's take a look at this video. It's about 3 minutes long. Then I'll come back and we're going to get into a deeper discussion, all right? Here we go.
Her family affectionately called her Grandma Chanthy, describing her as sweet, loving, and full of life, with a smile that warmed up an entire room.
And Lorenzen was always known as being a very kind and generous person from a young age. Before he had money, he was always giving to other people. But once he started making millions in the NBA, he really started giving to people. And he was definitely that type of person that would give the shirt off his back.
All right. And I forgot to say fair use. Oh my God, my package just got delivered. I did not think I was going to get my package today. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay. Wow. Woohoo. I love it when tracking tells the truth. My package said out for delivery. I was like, yeah, right. There's no way. There's no way. I'm getting this package on a Sunday, and I just did. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't focus. All focus is gone. All right, PTE, refocus. You can get your package in a minute. So, what did you guys see and what did you take away from that video? I know it went pretty quickly. I tried to make it slow, but still went by kind of quick. And fair use, by the way, fair use for those video clips. And Kendall, please don't clap me. I love you. I'm a huge fan. Please don't clap me, Kendall, okay? So, what are some of your takeaways before I start kind of deep diving? Did you notice any common themes? As a matter of fact, did you notice any common themes while I go get this package off my front porch? Write it in the chat. All right, I'm back. So, chat says kind people always end up with the short end of the stick. New Waters, unfortunately, yes. Everyone in that video are all news articles from people who really met tragic ends, like not just, like a normal passing from old age or passing away from some sort of illness. I think maybe one was illness, maybe one. I'm out of breath. Hold on. But almost all of them met tragic ends. Chat says codependency, wanting everyone else to be taken care of and happy. Oh, and by the way, happy birthday, always love. I saw that chat come through. Happy early birthday. I hope you enjoy your day. I really do. Chat says effacing oneself for others and trusting them too much. Absolutely. Chat says kindness is seen as weakness. I am kind. Luckily, not a people pleaser anymore. Hold on to that thought. People will do for others all the time, always. Oh, excuse me. People who do for others all the time always end up worse off. Hold on to that thought. Says, yes, each person was considered selfless, yet wound up being unprotected by others. A lot of people pleasing ends up with autoimmune disorders. Absolutely. They were always going extremely out of their way. Ciao boo. So, chat says sometimes it's about image keeping to their detriment. Y'all are on it. On it. Okay. So, Oh man, I'm so excited to be talking about this because it's been on my mind for a while. Y'all know I sit and nurse topics for months, sometimes even years. So before I go deep diving, I wanted to show you that I'm actually not the only one who's noticed this, but I would like to think, and I rarely pat myself on the back like this, but I would like to think that I brought it up in the public sphere first. But this is from, I think I got this one from Facebook, maybe, and it's it's not meant to be funny. But it's kind of funny the way she puts it. This particular person said, "You watch any Dateline and you learn real quick there's nothing more dangerous than lighting up a room. It's on every episode. That's why I don't light up anything. I make places worse when I get there." Okay. So just to add some levity to the show, okay? And again, there's nothing funny about the tragic loss of life, especially by violent means, but we're just adding a little bit of levity here, okay? And I don't want y'all making places worse when you get there, okay? Please don't go around making places worse, all right? But that's just one that I found. I found another one too. And it said, this one was from Instagram, and it said, on Dateline, it's always the person who lit up the room that gets murdered. I'm glad I'm grouchy and unapproachable. Oh God, I hate that I'm laughing because it's not funny, okay? It's not. It's not, but the fact that other people are starting to notice this trend lets me know that I'm onto something and that it's not my imagination. Chat says, I'm with her. This little light of mine, not gonna let it shine. Okay, listen, let's get our laugh out. Let's get our laugh out so we can be serious. Chat says, it's hilarious. I mean, like, come on. And there's a there's a part of me that feels like do reporters and journalists and people just not know what to say in situations like this? So that's the first thing that they say, like, he just lit up a room, she just lit up the room. And I'm like, all this lighting up the room sounds like probably one of the worst things you can do as you move around the world. But I digress, okay? So ooh, chat says, to be honest, positive remarks are often made about killers too. Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. 100%. Okay. So now that we've lightened up the mood a little bit, you guys are spot on. Everything you're saying is spot on. So what I want to get into really quick is actually let's look at Gabor's quote really quick. Then I'll kind of give some of my thoughts, and then we'll close out with something else I want to show you. And then I think I'll show the video again for anyone who joined late. And I might post that video separate too. It all depends on what happens with the live stream. If Kendall claps me, then I can't post that little snippet separate. But if she doesn't, then, or that news excerpt, if I don't get clapped by either one of them, then I'll post the video as a standalone little video on the channel. But I pulled this quote from a video that I found on YouTube. And I was actually going to put the audio in, but I decided I would really be running a lot of risks in terms of copyright if I did that. So what I did is I actually just typed out what he said and made this little picture because I figured that would be safer. Chat says, resting bitch face saves lives. Okay. Okay. Here we go. So this is what Gabor said. If you didn't get the love that you needed, you'll be consumed by being liked. And you'll be very likable and very nice. You might become helpful, a very helping individual, which is a coping pattern. You can be genuinely nice and genuinely supportive of others and still look after your own needs. But a lot of people are very nice and likable and helpful by suppressing their own needs. Everybody says how nice they are. And when they die at age 50 of cancer, everybody shows up at their funeral and then they weep about how nice they were and how selfless they were. Gabor Maté. So, and that whole video I pulled it from was really good. I think I'll link it after the show is over, just in case you want to watch it. But I thought this was very interesting, and I really felt like a lot of what I'm trying to communicate, especially on the main channel, Permission to Exist, is that you have to look after your own needs. You cannot give up your whole entire self in the service of others per se, but in particular in the service of narcissists. But we're not here to talk about narcissists tonight on this channel. We're really talking about individuals tonight who would be willing to do anything for anyone, who'd give the shirt off of their back, who were always trying to help everybody. That's who we're talking about tonight. And I don't believe the people that they were trying to help were always necessarily narcissists. Probably they were just regular people a lot of the time. And so it brings it back to the question and the title and topic of this show, which is, should we be lighting up these rooms everywhere that we go? Should this be a goal of ours? And why is it, and why does it seem that so often the people who do this end up being like tragically murdered? Why? Like, that's a very odd common denominator. And you guys said a lot of really, really great stuff earlier, kind of hitting the nail on the head. And I believe, so I'm going to get into a little bit of my theory, kind of echoing some of what you guys have already said. And I just want to add to that a little bit. So my theory behind this is these individuals deny themselves so frequently and refuse to follow their inner path and refuse to follow their instinct or that inner voice so often that quite often they are putting themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time around the wrong people. Now, am I saying that it's their fault? They met a violent end? No. Am I saying that they deserved it? No. Am I saying that they earned it? No. What I'm saying is, I think there might be a lesson here, because that's just a few of the news articles that I took screenshots of. Just a few. The rest, either I didn't take a screenshot of or I lost it somewhere in my organization system, can't find it. That's just a few, but I've seen more. So it's kind of like there's a theme here, and that theme seems to be the denial of self to a morbid degree. And it really goes against everything that we're often taught as children, small children, as we're raised, either explicitly taught that by our family or taught it by society. We're taught that we're supposed to be giving, generous, kind, caring, sharing, willing to help, always giving of oneself. That's what we're told. We're told that that's what a good person is. And when we aren't those things, and when we don't do those things, we are quite frequently shamed. Like we are, excuse me, quite frequently shamed for not being generous. Where I'm from, the word that would be used is green, like the color green. So if somebody asked you for something and you told them no, they would say, PTE, you green. So that was the phrase, and I don't know how it came to be, but that's what we would call each other. And I've been called green when I was younger an awful lot. You green? Oh, you green? And I'm like, yeah, well, I might be green, but you blue. Like, I didn't care. I don't know where this attitude came from, because like my parents aren't stingy like that. So, and I don't even consider it a stinginess. It's almost like It's almost like I always recognized when somebody was trying to take advantage of me, even at a young age, even at a young age. And even at a young age, I could do a certain type of math that I don't have a word for. So, for example, if I had some gum in my backpack or some gum in my purse, and I reach out or reach into my backpack, take out a piece of gum, pop it in my mouth, somebody sees me do it. Oh, can I get a piece? Occasionally, I would share my gum. It depended on a lot of different circumstances. But if I was in like a large group of people, I would tell them no. And the reason I told them no is because I knew that if I give you a piece, he's going to want a piece. And if he gets a piece, she'll want a piece. And if she wants a piece, he wants a piece. And if he wants a piece, she wants a piece. And before you know it, all of my gum is gone. And this gum was supposed to last me for 3 days. Now, what's stopping you from going to get your own gum? You're a fully capable human being. We weren't adults yet, but you're able-bodied, you're upright. We're in similar financial circumstances. I'm not rich, you're not rich. We are of similar means. I took the time to plan ahead for my week to make sure I would have gum, but you didn't, and you also never do. So no, I'm not giving you a piece of my gum because not only will it all be gone when everyone asks for their piece, but it will become a habit. So I gave you a piece of gum on Monday, you're going to come hit me up on Tuesday. Hey, PCE, you got some gum? Really? It says PTE, calculus is the name of that math. Is it really calculus? Or are you being funny? Is it really, is that what calculus is? Wow, I can do calculus? That's kind of amazing. I never thought I'd be able to do something like that. But if that's what calculus is, maybe I should revisit it and actually attempt to do real calculus. Because that's the way I thought about things. I wasn't trying to be mean and I wasn't trying to be stingy with my things. I just recognized that if I give you this piece of, oh, you were being funny. See, you got me all excited thinking I could do calculus. It's cool though. It was still funny though. But I just knew that it would become a problem over time. One piece of gum on Monday is two pieces of gum on Tuesday. And I would be in the position of continuously buying more gum because now I'm the gum girl. You see what I'm saying? So I would tell them no, and then they would say, you're green, meaning you're stingy. And the thing about me is I just didn't have a problem with that label. It didn't bother me. And I think that's one of the main differences between people like myself and people who are always out here lighting up these rooms. Ah, smart. See, I didn't think that far ahead. Said I just say that was my last piece. Smart. I would never be able to think. I couldn't think that quick on my feet. So I would just tell them no. But that's just one example. Versus the person who would do anything for anybody and give up their gum, distribute the whole pack of gum to everyone standing around. Now they all have a piece of gum and you have the one in your mouth, but that's it for you. You have none left. So now you got to go back to the store. And when they see you again, they're going to ask you again. And the person who'd give the shirt off their back would give them a piece of gum again. See, I wouldn't. So, and I feel like that's the difference. And while that's a small example, I feel like that example kind of expands outward and applies to other situations and other areas of life. My willingness to say no, in spite of the fact that I know it's going to upset whoever I'm with or whoever I'm around. I know it's going to upset them, but it's like it's not that I didn't care. Of course I cared. I didn't like people thinking, oh, she won't even share her gum. I didn't like people thinking that, but at the same time, I felt like I had protected myself. Chat said, what about when people want to taste your lunch? So annoying, right? That doesn't happen to me these days, but back in the day, it used to. So think about how many different ways that could apply in our day-to-day life, in our everyday life. Because, see, a lot of people don't want to be called green or stingy or mean. So they will give whatever they have to keep the people around them happy. And I feel like that's how a lot of these individuals who meet these tragic ends end up in these situations. One of the stories, one of the snippets was a tragic story actually out of the Atlanta area. This girl, well, she wasn't a girl, she was a young woman, but she had 3 kids. She had just moved to Atlanta, trying to give her kids a better life. She was trying to get her kids in a better school system. She met some guy, and he took her on a trip, not a literal trip, like a metaphorical trip, and ended up taking her life. And as I was putting this together, all I was thinking to myself was, how many different times did he present her with something where she really wanted to tell him no? But because she wanted to help everyone all the time, she helped him, even though inside she didn't really want to, but maybe she didn't want him to think she was mean. And so he just probably just kept asking for different things. Hey, do this, do that. Take me here. Let's go there. Follow me here. I'm coming with you there. Do this for me. Do that for me. Until it maybe what happened, maybe was she finally told him no. He flipped out and took her life. This is just me hypothesizing or theorizing of what may have happened, because I don't think they actually know what happened, or I don't know. My point is this willingness to be so selfless a way of putting ourselves in harm's way? Let me see if I can scroll back up to some of the ways that you all phrased it, because you all phrased it really perfectly. Let me see. Well, yeah, here we go. Each person that was considered selfless yet wound up being unprotected by others. So it's almost like, to a degree, is selfishness a form of protection? Not selfishness in the narcissistic sense, where you're taking advantage of others for your own personal gain, but selfishness in the sense of personal protection. Is that a form of protection? The willingness to be selfish, the willingness to say no, the willingness to upset others when they're asking for something that's either unreasonable or asking for something you just don't want to do. It says, kindness is seen as weakness, and it often is, actually. People pleasing can be seen as a weakness. I just think I can think of so many different examples of when this has happened in my life, and how upset the people got with me when I would tell them no, and how I also didn't care about how upset they had gotten with me, because I knew, it's like I just have this sixth sense for, this person is trying to take advantage of me. Now, does that mean I've never helped anyone before? Of course not. I've helped people before. And I find with me, I'm usually more, oh, chat says self-preservation, classic codependency. Yes, 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 yes. And is this maybe how sometimes we end up in relationships with narcissists, that codependent type behavior? Um, Dang, I was about to say something and I forgot. Maybe it'll come back to me. But dang, it was good too. Let me see if I can regenerate it. Maybe it'll come back to me. Let me back up. And how upset the people got with me when I would tell them no. And how I also didn't care about how upset they had gotten with me, because I knew, it's like I just have this sixth sense for, this person is trying to take advantage of me. Now, does that mean I've never helped anyone before? Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. And I find with me, I'm usually more, that's what I was going to say. Okay. I find with me, I'm usually more willing to help people who I can see are trying to help themselves or are truly helpless, if that makes sense. So if I see someone really trying, really making an effort on their own, putting forth everything that they know how to do, they're trying it. And I see that, it makes me want to help them. Like, wow, look at what they've done already. They just need a little bit of extra whatever, fill in the blank. I'm usually more than willing to help people like that. Or people who are truly helpless, like the elderly, or someone who is physically not as able to do something as someone else. Usually that brings out my inner helper immediately, like instantly. For example, when my grandmother was alive, and I think she may have been in her 80s when this happened. She called me up. This is back when I was living in my hometown still. And she was like, baby, would you mind helping me with my hair? I just need a little bit of help with my hair. I literally packed up my brushes, my combs, my little blow dryer, my shampoo, my conditioner, went over there and I helped my grandmother with her hair. And it was the most fun that I think I'd ever had with her, that I could recall anyway in recent years. But I went over and I helped my grandmother with her hair. And if she had asked sooner, I would have helped sooner. But she was very independent until she was not able to be anymore. So she was doing her own hair probably right up until she hit her 80s, is when it became challenging for her. And that was the first time she reached out and asked me um, for help. And I ran over there to help her. And I also just like doing hair. So for me, it was a fun opportunity to do hair also. But I had no problem doing that. No problem. Um, that's just one example. I'm trying to think of another example. Um, anyway, my point is, when someone truly needs the help, or if I can see that they've really tried on their own, then I'm more than willing to jump in and help, because I know that you're not just looking for an easy ticket or an easy, like an easy come up, or as I'm giving y'all all my lingo tonight, or as we also used to say where I'm from, a duck, D-U-C-K, a duck. A duck is someone who essentially is very easily taken advantage of. So if they say he's a duck or she's a duck, it kind of means a person who might be just a little, I don't want to say stupid, maybe naive. Naive and easily taken advantage of is what a duck is. So I don't allow people to treat me like a duck or make me a duck. And perhaps that's not a good way to be. Maybe it makes people think that I'm mean and not nice, but at the same time, they leave me alone. So, for example, I have a neighbor, and this is actually one of my neighbors that I like. Um, she and I talk every so often. We don't talk frequently at all, but we talk every so often. So one night she called me and she was telling me, she was like, "Have you met the new neighbors a couple houses down?" I was like, "No, have you?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I was outside the other day and one of them walked over." This is funny to me. So let me see if I can do it without laughing. She said one of them walked over and introduced himself and said that he that he knows how to fix cars. So if I ever need an oil change or anything like that, to give him a call and he'll come help. And she was like, he was she was like, he was really nice and really friendly. And, I thought that was really nice of him to introduce himself. I said, "Oh, yeah, that was nice." She goes, "Oh, but wait." She said, "But wait, there's more." I said, "Okay." She said, "So one night I'm home. It's about 7 o'clock p.m. and I get a knock on the door and I'm not expecting anybody. So I go to the door and I crack it open and it was him." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "And what did he want?" She said, "Girl, he asked me for $20." I said, "See?" I said, "And that's why I'm mean as hell when I go outside. I don't smile. I don't wave. None of that." I said, "That's why I'm mean as hell when I go outside." See there? She was like, "I couldn't believe it." She was like, "I couldn't believe that he came and knocked on my door and asked me for $20. I said, I can believe it, you know? And I'm laughing because it's so funny. Just the way she was so shocked in her voice. She was sincerely stunned that this man, this grown adult male, came and knocked on her door and asked her for $20 after, hey, he had introduced himself and said he knows how to fix car. I said, see, girl, I said, that's why I'm mean when I go outside. I said, I'm mean. Like, I'm mean mug. I don't smile. I don't make eye contact because it's like a sixth sense. I just know it. I sense it. I can tell the type of people that do that kind of stuff. I really can. And I'm like, don't befriend it. It's almost like don't feed the cats. Not literally, like the actual cats, but that phrase comes from if you feed stray cats outside, they will start to come to your door and they will start to hang around your door and they won't leave. They won't. There's tons of stray cats in my neighborhood. And as much as I actually want to feed them, I really do, believe it or not, I actually want to feed them. I already know the day that you feed those cats, they are going to be hanging around your door and lurking around your door, which wouldn't necessarily be a problem, except I have two cats of my own. And as you guys know, I had the puppy for about 3 years, who I tragically lost, if y'all didn't know that already. So what I didn't want is on a normal morning or afternoon or evening when I go to take the puppy out, I didn't want six cats on the back porch when I'm coming outside with the dog because she would have chased all of them. And I didn't want her to get into a fight with one of the neighborhood cats. You know what I mean? There's that. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of times they have fleas and things like that because they live outside. So I didn't want like fleas near the door, like getting in the house. You see what I'm saying? So, like, as much as I wanted to feed the cats, I can't feed the cats because it would produce more problems than it would solve. So I take the same approach when I see feral cat people. I'm like, oh no, don't feed that cat, honey. Don't feed the cat. You feed that cat, it is never going to go away. And you know what? Now, okay, y'all are unlocking memories. As a matter of fact, when I first moved into this neighborhood, I would take my puppy on walks around the neighborhood. And she was super cute and just like a little toy. She looked like a little toy. So people would stop me all the time and just ask about her, kind of talk to her or whatever, try to pet her. She usually wouldn't let them pet her, which is funny to me. But there was this one girl, I would maybe say maybe she was like 17 years old, maybe. I don't know. I've never known how old this girl was, but she loved her, right? So every time I would go walk around the neighborhood and she was outside, she would come up, she would talk, she would say hi, talk to the dog, play with the dog, whatever. I thought nothing of it, right? Thought nothing of it. One day I get a knock on my door and I have a peephole on my door, which other doors in the neighborhood don't, which I think is strange. But anyway, another story for another day. Um, but I have a peephole on my door. So I look out the peephole and I'm like, what does she want? So I open the door. I was like, hey, she goes, can I get a ride to work? I said, what? She said, can I get a ride to work? I said, oh, honey. I was like, oh, I can't leave. I'm working right now. I'm working from home. I have meetings. I'm sorry, I can't leave. She goes, okay. And she just walks off. Chat says, well, I fed the cat, then I fed 10. True story. Exactly. But same thing, right? And that's why I mean when I go outside, because here I am thinking I'm doing something so innocent. I'm meeting my neighbors, just walking around the neighborhood with my dog. People want to talk to her and see her because she's cute, so I let them. I thought nothing of the interaction. Then, like a month or two later, I get a knock on the door from the same 17-year-old girl. Can I get a ride to work? No, baby. No. And I know some of y'all will be like, dang, PTE, that's messed up. You didn't give her a ride to work. At least she has a job, right? At least, you know, uh, you could have helped another young Black woman out. You could have helped her out, but mm-mm. baby, you cannot feed those cats. I'm telling you. Because what would that have turned into? First of all, not hello, good afternoon, how you doing? No hi, no nothing. No greeting whatsoever. As soon as I opened the door, I said, "Hey, what's up?" She goes, "Can I get a ride to work?" Wow. So you're a feral cat. And let's just say I was one of these people who would do anything for anybody, right? And I said, "Oh, sure. Let me get my shoes on. Let me grab my keys. I'll take you to work." What do you think would have happened after that day? What do you think would have happened? If your guess is she would have come knocking on my door asking for rides every single day, I would say you're absolutely correct. If I had said yes just that one time, she would have kept coming every single day. And she still lives out here too. And I just could not I could not set that precedent. So now, I mean the pup is gone unfortunately, but even before the dog had passed away, she never came to my door again and she also stopped speaking to me, which told me that I was 100% correct about you. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get rid of her. And I just couldn't believe the audacity and the gall because to me it would have been like, so you don't think I'm doing anything in here? You think I'm just off? Like not hello, how are you this afternoon? My ride couldn't make it this afternoon, and I was just wondering, would you be able to take me to work? I'll give you gas money. You know, it's not that far away or something. You know what I mean? But can I get a ride to work? Like, honey, baby, no, this isn't Uber, baby. I almost said that, but I decided not to. I almost said, can you just call an Uber? But it was more than that to me, y'all, because here's how else I was thinking. The same way I think about the gum. I'm just going to call it calculus, even though you're just joking. I'm going to call it calculus. So I did my social calculus. And I was like, first of all, she lives in a house with at least 3 or 4 other adults, and they all have cars, all of them. Okay. At least 3 or 4 other adults. All right. So that's one. Number two, I don't know you, and you don't know me either. We really don't know each other. I walk past you sometimes when I'm walking my dog. That's it. So you're a stranger to me. And how does it look for me to be taking some 17-year-old girl up to work? I don't know you. You don't know me. I haven't met your people. I don't know your family. They don't know me. I just didn't like it. It didn't feel right. It felt weird. And then on top of that, how you gonna get home, honey? You think I'm gonna come up? Oh, it says it is calculus. You're calculating risk. Exactly. It's like risk calculations. But finally, how you gonna get home? Because I'm not coming back up here to get you. If somehow I had been so motivated to actually take you to work, I'm not coming back up here to pick you up. So how you getting home? And the final thought that I had around that was one of the best things you can do for her, PTE, is teach her how to get herself to work and back. Because what if you move out? Then what is she going to do? How is she going to get to work then? Just go knocking on door to door until somebody answers their door and agrees to take her to work? You're teaching her you can't rely on other people. You have to somehow rely on yourself, even if that means walking, even if that means maybe investing in a bicycle, even if that means learning how to use Uber and taking a portion of your paycheck and figuring out how much it costs to get to work and back with Uber and devoting a portion of your paycheck to Uber so you can get yourself to and from work. I felt like I was doing her a big life favor. Now, does she probably think I'm mean now? Probably. Does she probably think I'm green now? Probably. Do I care? No. I was thinking that too, Rodeo Rose. Chat says it could have been a setup. See, I thought about that too. I'm like, see, I don't really know you like that. I don't know you, and you don't know me. And you would knock on a total stranger's door, familiar only from when you see me walk by with my dog and I stop and let you talk to her and pet her a little bit. That's the only way we know each other. That's the extent of it. And you would knock on my door and ask me for a ride to work. You don't know me, honey. Chat says she was rude, has no manners or decency, and she's a user. Absolutely. Didn't even greet me. Didn't even offer to pay gas money. Nothing. And it bothered me for a long time because I was like, dang, PTE. Here's this young girl. She's got herself a little job. She's just trying to get to work. She turned to someone she probably felt like she could trust because she's not going to knock on a man's door. You know what I mean? No offense to the men listening. I'm just saying she's not going to go knock on a man's door and say, hey, will you take me to work? She turned to a woman for help and you rejected her and turned her down. Now, how's she going to get to work? And then I thought about it and I was like, PTE, she probably had that job before you moved in. She's been getting to work all this time, has she not? That's not what you're for. That's not, you're nobody's taxi, and you cannot set that precedent. You can't set that precedent, honey. You just can't do it. Like, and it's every now and then it still kind of bothers me a little bit, but then I just know in my heart it would have become a daily thing. Can you take me to work every day, basically? It would have become that. And I just couldn't do it, y'all. And this is the struggle of a person who's not the type who will do anything for anyone, who's not the type who will give the shirt off the back, who's not the type who just wants to help everyone that they can, like you're some sort of charity. You are not a charity. Ooh, chat says she has no dignity and thinks she's entitled. And it's funny because I feel like when people see me out in the wild, out in the real world, they assume a lot about me. People make a lot of assumptions about me. And I think one of the biggest assumptions that people make about me that makes me laugh real hard is people assume that I have money. They assume that I'm rich. And it's so funny because it couldn't be further from the truth. They assume that I'm rich and they have no reason to think that. My car is not some luxury vehicle. I don't wear designer clothes or high-end jewelry. I don't carry designer handbags or high-end handbags. I'm no hobo. Let's not get it twisted now. I'm not a hobo, but you wouldn't look at me and think, wow, she's a multimillionaire or at least a millionaire. There's no way you'd be able to assume that. But for some reason, when people interact with me, they think that I'm rich. And they think that like I'm well supplied for some reason. And I think what they're actually seeing is someone who has learned how to manage the little she does have. That's what they're seeing. I think what I'm trying to say is what they're seeing is my resourcefulness. They see a person who's very resourceful, or something about me says she's very resourceful. So if it's not, oh, she has money, oh, she knows how to either get money, or she's very, very resourceful. They're seeing something though that makes them assume that I just got gum to give, that I got rides to give, that I got all this to give for some reason. And it's like, sweetheart, do you realize that all of this is the result of social calculus, okay? Life calculus. I have just taken a look at what I have and I'm maximizing what I have is what it is. So it's like, and I've accumulated a lot of things over time. So it's not like I went out on a shopping spree and bought all this stuff. A lot of the things I have, I've accumulated over many years. And I make smart purchases, meaning I'll buy something because it'll last me a couple of years, not because, or versus buying something that's trendy and in style. I'm like, yeah, it's cute, but how many years is that going to last me? So I buy things that last a while. I think that's what people are seeing. But anyway, chat says you have a rich mentality. That's what they're picking up on. Interesting. Chat says you speak with class, PTE. You're a classy lady. That's probably why they think you're rich. Well, thank you. I will take that as a compliment. And maybe that's what it is. Chat says users love resourceful people. Why are you crying, Ticey lady? Are you crying laughing? What are you crying? Why are you crying? Um, Says you're probably poised, and that makes people think you're classy and that you're doing financially well. Well, I need to get sloppy out here then. I need to start carrying myself a little bit more sloppy because I think I've shared with you guys either on this channel or on the main channel the neighbor that I don't like, how the very first day that we met, she asked me, do I babysit? Does any of that, do any of you all remember that story? It says Capricorns give off that rich energy, that rich bitch, that wealthy bitch. Well, one of my neighbors, the one that has literally found a way to crawl under every inch of my skin, the very first day that we met, she asked me, do you babysit? And I told her, no, ma'am. And it tickles me and it's funny to me because like it just makes me wonder how many people has she met in this life where she asked them that same question, do you babysit? And they were like, oh yeah, sure. Really? Does she really? It says Dr. Ramani speaks on the air of Capricorns. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up. That's interesting. Chat says teach, don't enable, don't be a doormat. Exactly. Well, that's pretty much the whole story. I had just moved into this house and I think I was unloading a box or something. My next door neighbor who gets under my skin came out, introduced herself. I introduced myself. And her very next question to me was, do you babysit? And I said, no, ma'am. No. Like you don't even know me. You don't know me. Why would you ask me to babysit your children? And you just met me? But she got her answer. No, ma'am. No. So I think that's probably why she started to get on my nerves and find little ways to get on my nerves because it's like, how dare she reject me for babysitting? It's like, girl, this is my first house. This is the first house I've lived in on my own. I lived in a house with my parents. This is my first house as an adult I've lived in on my own, and I'm certainly not about to turn it into a daycare center. This is my oasis and my peace. Like it's truly stunning, the audacity and the gall. But to kind of take it back to the topic of the show, I think the people with this audacity and with this gall actually do meet a lot of people who would be like, oh yeah, sure, I'll give you a ride to work. Oh yeah, sure, I'll babysit, I'll watch your kids. And then will be the same ones who are like, hey, you said you were going to give me $100 for watching your kids. Where's the money? Oh, I get paid next week. I'll give it to you next week. The same ones who kind of get cheated a lot, And I think the message I'm trying to send is, and what I really hope for many of my viewers is that you find the courage in you to say no and find that courage to be disliked. Find the courage. Does that mean say no all the time? No, say yes when it feels right and when it feels appropriate for you. Or when you can actually do something, or basically, I guess one way you could look at it is say yes when you know you can be a cheerful giver, But I don't even know if that's good advice, because I think a lot of these people were cheerful givers in the video that I showed. They were cheerful givers, and it backfired on them. I think that as people, one of our number one duties is to love and respect ourselves, to show the same love to ourselves that we are showing to everyone else. I don't think we are supposed to be giving out more than we're giving ourselves. And that can be very easily misinterpreted and skewed toward the narcissistic. Like, oh, you're just obsessed with yourself, you're self centered, blah, blah, blah. And it's really not what I mean. It's really not. It's more so what I'm saying is, sure, give the shirt off your back if you have some more shirts at home. But if you don't have any shirts at home and you're giving the shirt off your back, well, now you're naked. And I don't think it was supposed to be like that. I think one of our number one duties is to learn how to love ourselves and how to protect ourselves. Chat says one of the soul's lessons in this journey. Yeah. Chat says, don't let others weaponize your own empathy. Absolutely. Oh, I like that. I'm taking that. I'm stealing that, Kim. Says, I'd rather be difficult to deal with than easy to play with. Hello, somebody. I could have displayed this one. Can I show this one? Boom. I'd rather be difficult to deal with than easy to play with. Hello, somebody. Somebody put it on a t-shirt. Like, come on. Hello. And hold on. Chat says, so that means she'll leave her kids with anyone who said, oh, yeah, I'll babysit. Yeah, exactly. She will. Chat says, I would be embarrassed to act so unapologetically and opportunistically, right? No shame whatsoever. Like, have you no shame? You don't have any shame. Like, that is one of my biggest issues. Like, some of the biggest financial trouble I've been in the past, where I finally had to wave the white flag and call my parents. My dad gets so furious with me because he's like, why did you wait so long? Why did you let it get to this level? And I would be like, Dad, because I just feel like it's not your job to bail me out when I get in trouble, and I'm an adult and I should have it all figured out, and shoulda, woulda, coulda. He's like, you are my child. He was like, you call me when you need help. He's like, you're too prideful. He said, you got too much pride. And I'm like, Dad, I'm sorry. I'm like, I just feel like I'm smart enough to get myself out of situations. And I should be able to get myself out of situations, and I'm able bodied, I'm educated, I should be able to find a way. He was like, yes, daughter dear. He was like, but every now and then, all of us need help. And you can't be afraid to ask us for help. He's like, that's what we're here for. But y'all just have to understand how much I don't like to burden my parents. That's a whole nother show. Even though they've told me on multiple occasions how I'm not a burden to them and that they'd sell the house if it meant keeping me out of trouble. And I do believe them, but I still don't like to burden them. So call it shame, call it pride. You can call it whatever you want. But I really do try my best to help myself until it gets really, really bad. I'm like, hey, Dad. Dad? Anyway, chat says, I've had that same conversation with my dad so many times. I just try not to be a burden. Like, I find that to me, like I was telling you earlier, I'm going to try everything in my power to fix the situation first before I realize I'm outnumbered and outgunned, before I'll wave my hand for help. And it's just how I am. So when I meet people who haven't even tried anything to try to save themselves, and your plan A is me. See, I don't like that. I don't like being your plan A. I should be like plan C. No, not even C. I should be like plan L, M, N, O, or P. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Q, R, or S. Not plan A. I'm not your plan A. I know, right? It says, be thankful you have parents that still care even though you're grown, right? I am grateful. And I think their willingness to help me also makes me not ever want to have to ask for it, if that makes sense. But I don't like it when people make me a plan A. I don't like that because you've just decided for me that I'm your solution and I am not. I do not consent to just being your solution and you haven't even tried anything. Anyway, I've gotten so far off task and off script, but I think this is an interesting conversation. Here's another thought that I was having, kind of similar and along those lines. I wonder how many women in particular get like baby trapped by men who convince them to like go unprotected and they didn't want to. I know that seems kind of left field, but I was thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder how many times that happens where her boundary is, yeah, we can do a little something, whatever, but we got to be protected about it. And he's like, okay, sure. Then they get in the bedroom and he's like, oh, come on, baby, let me take it off. And she really wants to say no, but she says yes, ends up pregnant, boom, he leaves, single mom. It's just a thought. Like how many girls are out here getting trapped in relationships, trapped with these babies because of that people pleasing behavior and that people pleasing mentality. It's just something I'm thinking about along these lines. But to kind of bring it back to the topic of the show, I think these individuals often meet these fates because they're too welcoming, too trusting, too inviting, too neglectful of the self to the point where they end up putting themselves in situations that they shouldn't have been in the first place, circumstances that they never should have been in the first place, perhaps from an unwillingness to say no, or not wanting to seem difficult, or not wanting to be viewed as mean or green or selfish or stingy, or, oh, fun. You're no fun. You know, that social pressure, that peer pressure is something serious. Chat says, I was seeing a bullfighter for a month who lived in another country. And while we were apart, he asked me to buy plane tickets for him and his entire team to travel to the United States. I was so shocked. I really hope you told him no. And I hope you stopped talking to him too. But I've heard stories about that. Actually, I was watching a series on YouTube. This girl recorded a series of videos of this guy that she was dating. And I think she either married him or was about to marry him. And when she went, she traveled out of the country to go visit his family. I think they either lived in maybe Mexico or Colombia or one of those countries, and how everyone in his family was hitting her up for money, including him on behalf of other people. So she was down there. They would all go to dinner, right? Him, her, his mama, his daddy, a couple of cousins, his niece, one nephew, and a family friend. They would all sit down, eat dinner. And then when the bill came, they would look at her, the American, and be like, yeah. And she's like, what? Like, yeah, you pay. And it's like, excuse me? I didn't agree to that. But she did it, y'all. She went ahead and did it. She paid the bill. And so like she was talking about how upset she was, but she loved him, so she just did it, and how the exchange rate is so different that it ended up being maybe like 20 American dollars maybe like 50 American dollars for the whole meal or whatever. So she was like, so it really wasn't a big deal, blah, blah, blah. She was like, but then the next day, his cousin called me and was like, hey, do you want to come hang out with us? And she was like, oh, sure. And she was thinking, hearing strange things outside. She was thinking, oh, I'm getting to know his family and they're being kind and inviting to me. So, yeah, I'll go hang out with his cousins or whatever. And she got there and it was like some like little nightclub situation. And she got there and basically they were looking to her to buy all their drinks and stuff. So like they would go up to the bar, his cousin would order a drink for herself, she would order her own drink, and then the cousin would be like, "You pay?" And she was like, "Excuse me?" And she was like, "You pay. You pay." And so but she kept doing it, y'all. Like if I can find that series, I doubt I'll be able to because I don't remember the channel name. I don't even remember the name of the videos. But I was absolutely stunned. People were going in on this girl in her comment section, like, you cannot allow yourself to be taken advantage of like that. Um, y'all, I'm hearing like, what is that? Is that my washing machine? I hope so. It's either my washing machine, fireworks, or we're getting bombed. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking through my Ring camera. I don't see anything. I'm hearing like a lot of booms. Maybe it's my washing machine trying to walk off. Anyway, if I end the live stream real quick, it's been real, y'all. But it was like a 7-part series. You hear it too? You heard it too? Okay. That was weird. That was really, really weird. It stopped now. I think it might have been my washing machine. But anyway, and at some point I just started feeling sorry for this girl, even though I probably shouldn't have, but I felt sorry for him. Like these people were just taking advantage of her, even him ultimately. Like they just saw her as a duck. You learned a new term tonight. You learned the term duck. They saw her as a duck, an easy mark, an easy lick. So he went through this whole elaborate engagement fiance scenario just so him and his family could milk her for money. Can't say I don't disagree. Wait, I can't say I disagree with you. Chat says that girl will end up a statistic. I can't say I disagree. Man, I hope I can find her channel and find what I was talking about because it was really amazing because I would have left after that little stunt at dinner. I would have left mainly because I'm a wee bit traditional, just a wee bit. And you don't invite me out of the country to meet your family and we all go to dinner and you look at me to pay. Oh, honey, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, sir. You at minimum, you pay for your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like you pay for your mother. I'm not paying for you, your mama, your cousins, your niece, your nephew, a family friend. No, sir. Mm-mm. We don't do that. But that's me though. And see, I feel like that's how I end up keeping myself out of situations like this. Not saying it could never happen. I would never be so arrogant to say, oh, this could never happen to me or that could never happen to me. I think anything could happen to anybody at any time. But what I'm saying is, I think I'm a little bit more skilled in avoiding these situations because I'm willing to say no and I'm willing to upset that person or those people for saying no. So that's kind of my theory. I want to show you guys. No, it started back up. Hold on. What is going on? Maybe I need to text my neighbor and say, girl, you all right over there? Because it sounds like it's coming from her house. Let me show you one more thing I found on the internet. Then I will play that video for you guys one more time, and then we'll get out of here. Do be advised that because I used a news clip and a clip from Kendall Ray, there is a small percentage of a chance this video might get clapped. I hope it doesn't, but if it does, what I'll do is download the video, take those parts out, and just re-upload it without those parts. So I hope that doesn't happen. Fair use for education, criticism, critique, and all that fun stuff. At minimum, what they'll probably do is just demonetize it, which is fine. That's fine. But I just want y'all to be aware of that, just in case you don't see it. That's probably what happened. But I found this on the internet also. This was on Instagram, and this person's handle is the Brain Coach. And I thought this was very good and very fitting. And it says, "This is not being kind, it is people pleasing." And the list reads as follows: repeatedly forgiving people who refuse to change, not expressing your feelings when you are upset, saying yes to others when you are at full capacity, not standing up for yourself when people are disrespectful, being passive with your concerns and issues, being a crutch for others when you are burnt out, always apologizing first during conflict because you cannot stand others to be upset with you, being everyone's support system but your own, and agreeing to plans when you know you need rest. Screenshot that. I think that's something worthy of screenshotting. But I thought this was really good. And yeah, it hits hard, right? I thought this was really good and I thought it was perfect for this show. Just to reiterate, I don't believe any of the victim stories highlighted. I don't think they deserved it. I don't think they earned it. It wasn't their fault. It shouldn't have happened to them. What we're doing tonight is we are trying to find the lesson in this common thread of all those different stories that I showed you at the start of the show, and I will close the show with that video again. We're trying to figure out what the lesson is here. What are their lives trying to teach us? And I wonder how many of them had some of these points or were engaging in some of the behaviors that we see on this list on our screen. Repeatedly forgiving people who refuse to change. Each one of these could be its own show. Not expressing your feelings when you are upset. I'm kind of guilty of that. But I'm mostly guilty of this at work because I feel like I can't express my feelings when I'm upset because then I'll get in trouble. Like I'm 6 years old. Basically, expressing my feelings when I'm upset causes more problems than they fix at work anyway. But I'm guilty of it in like relationships too, personal relationships. Saying yes to others when you are at full capacity. I'm pretty good with that one. I mean, I'm pretty good with not doing that. Like if it's just too much, I'm pretty good at saying no. Although I sometimes will say yes when I know I shouldn't be. Once again, another work example. Not standing up for yourself when people are disrespectful. I'm getting better with this one, and I'm so proud of myself because this one has been very hard for me. Standing up for myself when people are disrespectful. Once again, everything kind of relates back to work, but lately, like when somebody cuts me off mid-sentence, I'll say, "Hold on a second, I wasn't finished." Or let me finish my thought first and then, we'll discuss. Or sometimes I just preempt them and I'll say, "Let me get my thought all the way out before you comment on it." because you're a rude bitch and you like to cut me off before I'm even finished saying what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm getting better at standing up for myself when people are being disrespectful or mirroring energy. I'm getting much better at just kind of matching energy levels, which isn't always necessarily the most mature thing to do. But what I've learned is they instantly recognize it when it's coming out of you. So when you match what they're giving, they see it instantly and they tighten up. It's amazing. You don't even have to say a word. But when you match the energy that they're giving, they recognize it in themselves and they immediately straighten up. It's phenomenal. Chat, you're so funny. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt, Johnny. It says, being passive with your concerns and issues. I'm getting better about being less passive. Like the other day, I told my team, I was like, honestly, it's giving lame. I was like, like the project we were talking about and the different things we were talking about. I said, guys, it's giving lame. And I don't think we're trying to give lame. I think we're trying to give competent. We're trying to give capable, professional, and enthusiastic. I said, right now, it's giving lame. I'll tell you what we were talking about. Basically, we run this little challenge, which is lame all by itself. But anyway, we run this little learning challenge at our company. And the winner, the winners get a company branded Post-it note, a company branded pen, and like a company branded keychain. I said, guys, we can't do this. We can't do this. I said, those are not prizes worth competing for. And in my mind, I'm like, PTE girl, shut up. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I'm like, nah, F that. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of pretending like this is okay. It's not okay. I said, guys, these are not prizes worth competing for. A Post-it note, a pen, and a keychain, come on, it's giving lame. We can do better than this. We are better than this. We can do better than this. And I have pushed it so many times that I'm finally pushing them into the direction of something better. Like, and I'm so proud of myself because I'm like, normally I would just sit back and just allow myself to be part of this lame activity. Like, woohoo, here's your pen and your Post-it note and your keychain. Congratulations, you won the challenge. I'm like, stop it. You're a multi-million-dollar company. Stop it. Stop it. Like, if you're not giving out electronics, you might as well not even run the challenge. But I know that's asking for too much, but we can do better than pens, a Post-it note, and a damn keychain. It's lame. So I'm getting better about passivity because I just don't care. Especially after my dog died, y'all, it changed me. Like something shifted in me. Like I just don't care anymore. I don't. I don't. Oh, you're mad because I told you it's lame. It is lame. I don't care. Be mad. I don't care. Like I lost all pretense after that little dog died. I just don't care. I don't care. Being a crutch for others when you are burnt out. I used to be real bad about that. I've gotten much better about it. Always apologizing first during conflict because you cannot stand others to be upset with you. I don't think I've ever suffered with that one, but I'm always willing to because I'm not looking for the apology. I'm looking for the understanding. I don't care if you apologize or not. Damage is done. Do you understand what went wrong here? So I don't think I've ever struggled with that one. Being everyone's support system but your own. I used to be real bad about that in my early 20s. I snapped out of it. And my life improved after that. And then agreeing to plans when you know you need rest. I think I have almost fully resolved that one. I think we're good on that one for me. But that's just me. That's just me in this list. Because I will get my rest. I will. When needed. I value my rest greatly. Yeah, those lame come on, come on, man. We do a learning challenge. These people take time out of their day to do this little silly challenge. Then they win, and then it's like, okay, cool. What did I win? We're gonna mail to your office a keychain, a pen, and a Post-it note, and they're all branded with the company logo. I'm like, "Y'all, we gotta stop. We gotta stop this. Mm-mm. It's not working." It's really lame, and it makes us look lame, and it makes us look like it makes us look very lame, and I've let them know that, how I feel about their little prizes, and I could tell it hurt their feelings, especially this one. Ooh, she's something else. She's a piece of work. But I could tell it really hurt her feelings, but I didn't care. I'm like, "You need your feelings hurt," because that's the problem. Nobody's willing to hurt your little feelings to make you better. That's lame. I wouldn't compete for that. Now, if we're competing for like an iPad or some AirPods or an Apple Watch or something like that, okay, now you've upped the ante. Even a gift card. That's actually the first thing I said to them. I was like, "Can we just do gift cards, like a $10? Because I know you're cheap as hell. Can we do like a $10 gift card, $20 gift card? Is that asking too much?" And they literally have this whole spiel about gift cards and how they don't like to send them because they're impersonal. I said, "What's more impersonal than a pen, a Post-it note, and a keychain?" I know they don't like me, but you know what? They need me, and they know they need me. They know. And I don't say that arrogantly at all, you guys. I'm serious. Because before I got there, that's what they were sending to people: keychains, Post-it notes, and a company branded pen. And then they wonder why people don't aren't really interested in our department. They wonder why they can't get people to sign up for our classes and stuff, why they can't get people enthusiastic about learning and development, because they think you're lame. That's why. And you are. But if you could trust me enough to let's start making these little improvements, people won't think we're lame anymore. They might actually take us seriously. Anyway, y'all know me and work. Y'all know that's a soapbox. Chat says they really think you should be ecstatic to sport the company logo. Yeah, it's like, check out these are company branded Post-it notes. It has our logo on it, y'all. And a pen. Like, come on. We're giving you something to write with and something to write on. Like, come on. Like, no, people don't like that. It's not exciting. Whew. I still haven't really talked about them. Because it's interesting. I'll have to do a separate show on my current job because it's a very interesting dynamic. Very interesting, but I'm working on them, y'all. But I'm trying to pull them. I'm basically trying to pull them out of the year 1990. They are very, very stuck in the year, like the years 1990 to like 1995 is where we are. And I'm trying to pull them to at least 2010. Anyway, chat says they should have felt some sort of shame for trying to act like those prizes were worth something. Oh, honey, she thought she was really doing that. Because when I first got there and they told me about it, because y'all have to understand, I'm kind of a dork for learning. Like, I do kind of geek out for learning and education because I think it's important. I think it's one of the most important things we have as human beings. So I got there and they're like, "Oh, we do a learning challenge every month." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Well, tell me about it." So they told me what the challenge is. I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." I was like, "So what do they win?" "Oh, I'll show you." So like we got up out of our seat. I'm following her. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is exciting. What are we doing? Like, what did they get?" I'm excited. She opens this drawer, honey, and showed me this stack of these dusty Post-it notes, this bag of pens, and this little bag of keychains that had started to yellow because they were so old. You know how plastic will sometimes yellow? It'll start to, I guess, oxidize. I don't know what the word. And I say, "Are you for real?" She was like, "Yep. We pull one out for each winner and we put it in an envelope and we send it to their office." I'm like, "Oh my God. Oh, oh my God." I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "Oh no." The chat says shame needs to come back into style, right? The chat says those prizes are insulting, right? Oh God. So, yeah. So anyway, what I hope you all took from the show tonight is while it is noble and honorable to help others when we can, don't let it consume you and become your whole identity to the point where you lose yourself and you lose your sense of self and your sense of protection and self-preservation. And I hope also that you took away that sometimes you're going to have to upset people to prevent yourself from becoming the type of people pleaser who gets things said about them, like they were willing to do anything for anybody. They would give the shirt off of their back. They were always trying to help other people, so forth and so on. And I think a final yet unrelated thought is please find something more creative to say about the people that you loved in your life. Find something more meaningful. It's not necessarily that they maybe didn't light up the room or were willing to help others and give shirts off their back, but surely there was something else meaningful and interesting about them that you could say about them that still absolutely honors their memory in a positive way. Talk about how intelligent they were. Talk about how insightful they were. Talk about how much they loved animals. Talk about something, but please let's stop talking. Let's stop using this cliche description for those who have passed on because it just sounds like, yeah, everyone used the hell out of them and now they're gone. And maybe I'm cynical. Y'all know, again, I've changed since my pup has passed. I'm just not the same person. So maybe I'm being too cynical because maybe that is the nicest thing you can say about someone. They lit up the room, they'd give the shirt off their back, and they're willing to help anyone. But wasn't there more to that person? Chat says, congratulations for calling out those lame ass prizes. Like, seriously. Like, come on, man. Chat says, I'd volunteer to pack a lot of that crap up and donate it to Goodwill. Oh, goodness, y'all making me laugh. Y'all making me laugh about them prizes. It was her enthusiasm about it. Like, oh, come here, I'll show you. And I'm like, oh, I'm like a goodie drawer. Like, that's one of the fun parts about being a teacher. There's usually goodie drawers everywhere with all kinds of little fun knickknacks in them that are actually fun and useful. So I'm thinking we're going to the good stuff, Here, come follow me. Okay, where are we going? Opens the drawer, ta-da, Post-it notes, pens, and keychains. Girl, if you don't get on out of here with that, don't nobody want that. She and I even sat and argued one day because they also have a whole bunch of headphones. Now, when you hear headphones, you're probably thinking AirPods, or I don't know what the Android equivalent to AirPods are. I'll just say wireless earbuds. When you hear headphones, you're thinking AirPods or wireless earbuds, right? Haha, wrong. These all have cords on them. So we were talking one day. She was like, well, PTE, obviously she doesn't call me PTE. She calls me by my name. Well, PTE, do you think we should put some headphones in there? I said, if you want to. I said, but honestly, sweetheart, people aren't using corded headphones anymore. She goes, well, I do. I said, yeah, that's you. I was like, but most people are using Bluetooth these days. I'm like, we could put it in there. I said, it's a nice touch. It's better than Post-it notes, pens, and a damn keychain. She was like, well, I use my corded headphones all the time. And what I almost said, but didn't, but should have was, yeah, and they sound terrible on calls. You sound like you're underwater. Because she likes to use them on our Zoom calls. And half the time we can't hear her because it sounds like she's underwater because they're very low quality corded headphone. I'm not knocking you if you use corded headphones. Some of y'all might actually be on corded headphones right now. I'm not knocking your use of the corded headphone. It's just like, it's the corded headphone with the Post-it notes, the pen, and the keychain. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, let me get off this because I'll stay on this all night long. All night long. Okay. So with that, thank you all so much. I can't wait to read your comments. They probably won't appear on the video until tomorrow because it takes it like 24 hours to show up. So fingers crossed this video stays up. Let's all cross our fingers and hope for the best because I don't know if it will, but I hope it does. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'm going to close the show by playing that video one more time. And then I'll play my typical outro, and that'll be that. But thank y'all for the conversation and the laughs. It was good catching up with you, and it's good to laugh with you, and it's just good to laugh in general. Okay? So have a great week, and I will talk to you again very soon. All right? Bye.
Her family affectionately called her Grandma Chanthi, describing her as sweet, loving, and full of life, with a smile that warmed up an entire room.
And Lorenzen was always known as being a very kind and generous person. From a young age, before he had money, he was always giving to other people. But once he started making millions in the NBA, he really started giving to people. And he was definitely that type of person that would give the shirt off his back.